It was a quiet night in the deep forest. The wind moved gently through the trees, and the only sound was the soft rustling of leaves. Jack was sitting on the porch of his small wooden cabin, drinking coffee. He lived alone, far from the city. And he liked the silence. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the peace. Boom! The ground shook. The sky lit up with a flash of blue light. Birds flew out of the trees, screaming in fear. Jack stood up quickly, looking toward the forest. What was that? He whispered. Another strange sound followed, a deep rumbling. Not like thunder, something else. Jack grabbed his flashlight and a warm jacket. Without wasting time, he walked into the woods. The air smelled of smoke. The trees were glowing faintly from the strange light in the distance. Jack moved, slowly but with purpose. His boots crunched on dry leaves. Every few seconds, he stopped and listened. Then he saw it. A large object was lying deep in the forest. It had crashed between two hills, burning slowly. It was not a plane. Not any machine Jack had ever seen. It was smooth, black, and shaped like a teardrop. Parts of it were cracked, and sparks came out from its side. Jack's heart raced. He stepped closer. Suddenly he heard something, a soft cry. It didn't sound human. Not like any animal either. He turned off his flashlight and crouched behind a tree. His breath was heavy now. He waited. Then, from the side of the object, a door slowly opened. Steam came out. And from the inside, something moved. It was a figure. Small, weak, and limping. Behind it, another shape appeared. This one was taller, but also weak and shaking. Both had smooth skin, not like humans. Their eyes were larger, and they glowed faintly in the dark. Jack couldn't believe what he was seeing. Aliens? He whispered to himself. The smaller one, maybe a child, made a soft sound. It was scared. The taller one touched the child and tried to protect it. But it collapsed to the ground. Jack couldn't stay hidden anymore. He stepped out. "Hey," he said gently, raising his hands. "I won't hurt you." The child looked at him with wide, glowing eyes. The mother, Jack guessed it was a mother, tried to stand but fell again. They were hurt. They were alone. Jack came closer. The heat from the crash was still strong. He removed his jacket and placed it gently over the alien mother. Her skin felt cold. The child clung to her tightly. "I'm not your enemy," Jack said softly. "Let me help." The mother looked at him. Her eyes were tired, full of pain and fear. She tried to speak, but the words didn't make sense. It was another language, soft and strange. Jack didn't need to understand the words. He understood the feeling. He looked around. The noise must have been heard for miles, if anyone else came. If the government found them, they might not. "Be safe. I can't leave you here," Jack said. He picked up the alien mother, who was lighter than he expected, and held her carefully. The child followed closely, walking beside him. Its small hand touched Jack's coat, as if asking, "Can we trust you?" Jack led them through a hidden path, one he had used many times before to hunt or collect firewood. After 20 minutes, they reached his cabin. He opened the door and let them inside. The cabin was simple, wooden floors, a fireplace, and a few old chairs. Jack placed the alien mother on his couch and gave the child a blanket. The child looked around, confused but curious. Jack moved quickly. He boiled water, brought clean towels, and tried to stop the bleeding on the mother's leg. She winced in pain but did not stop him. Slowly, her breathing calmed. Outside, the wind had changed. In the distance, a helicopter flew across the sky. Its red light blinked through the trees. Jack stood at the window and watched. "They'll come," he whispered. "They'll search the woods." He closed the curtains and locked the door. The child, now sitting near the fire, looked up at Jack. Then, slowly, it smiled, just a little. Jack smiled back. He didn't know what would happen next. But he knew one thing. Tonight, everything had changed. The fire crackled softly inside the wooden cabin. Outside, the forest slept, but danger was awake. Jack sat near the window, holding an old hunting rifle. He wasn't a soldier, but tonight, he felt like a guard standing between two worlds. Inside, the alien mother lay still on the couch. Her skin had turned pale blue, and her breathing was slow. The child sat beside her, holding her hand, not speaking, only watching, silent, scared, shivering. Jack didn't sleep. His mind ran wild with questions. Who are they? Why did they crash here? Are more of them coming? Or ... are more of us coming to find them? Then, a low sound in the distance. Chop dash chop dash chop. Helicopter blades. Jack stood up slowly and peeked through the curtain. Red lights moved across the sky. Flashlights danced in the trees far away. People were searching. They had started the hunt. That morning, Jack knew he had little time. He went outside and quickly covered the crash trail with leaves and branches. He even poured old motor oil on the ground to confuse any tracking dogs. Then he walked back to the cabin. The child was awake, looking at a photo on the wall, a picture of Jack and a little girl. My daughter, Jack said softly. She died many years ago. The child looked at him, tilting its head. It didn't speak, but its eyes showed understanding. Almost ... sadness. Then, for the first time, the child made a small sound. A word, J-A ... Jack froze. Know my name? The child pointed at his jacket. His name was stitched on the pocket. Jack laughed, just a little. It felt strange after such a heavy night. You're smart, he said. Later that day, the mother began to wake. She tried to sit up but cried in pain. Jack rushed to her side and helped gently. She looked at him, her eyes full of confusion. Then, she raised her hand and pointed to her neck. Jack didn't understand. The child stepped forward. From its small bag, it pulled out a tiny device, shaped like a stone. The child pressed it gently to the mother's neck. A soft light blinked. Jack watched in silence. The mother took a deep breath, then looked at him. This time, when she spoke, her voice was clear. Strange, but clear. We thank you, Jack nodded. You're welcome. But we need to move you. People are coming. The mother looked at her child. Fear passed between them. Jack saw it. They had seen war before. Maybe they were running from it. That night, Jack made a plan. He had an old root cellar under the cabin, a place where he once stored food. Now it would be their hiding spot. He made a soft bed of blankets and pillows. Inside, brought water, bread, and medicine. Then, when the helicopters returned, louder and closer, he helped them down. As the sound of engines passed over the roof, Jack sat in the dark cellar with them. The child held his hand. Even the silence had weight. Look. Next morning, someone knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Jack opened it slowly. A man in a black suit stood outside. Behind him, two soldiers. Sorry to bother you, sir, the man said. There was an incident in this area last night. Aircraft trouble. Did you see or hear anything? Jack shook his head. Just thunder, I think. Loud storm. The man studied him. You live alone? Yes. No family? Not anymore. The man nodded but didn't smile. His eyes scanned the cabin. Jack stood still, hiding the trapdoor to the cellar with a rug. After a few quiet seconds, the man gave a small nod to the soldiers. They walked off. If you hear or see anything, the man said, handing Jack a card. Call this number. Jack took it. Sure. The man paused one last time, then left. As the door closed, Jack let out a slow breath. Down in the cellar, the child looked up. Jack smiled at it, a tired but real smile. They're gone, for now. Later that night, as the sky turned orange, Jack sat outside the cabin. He held the small alien device the child had used earlier. It buzzed faintly in his hands. Lights moved across its surface like waves. "What are you hiding?" He whispered to the stars. From the shadows the child came and sat beside him. It pointed to the stars, then to its chest, then to Jack. Jack understood the message. "We're not so different," he said. The child nodded. And far above them, in the black sky, something moved, a silent dot of light, blinking once, then disappearing. The cabin was quiet, but not peaceful. Every sound felt louder now. A creak of wood, a drip of water, the hum of something strange coming from the cellar below. Jack sat at the kitchen table, staring at a glowing device the child had given him. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. He didn't know what it meant, but it didn't feel dangerous. Just alive. Below his feet, in the root cellar, a different world was trying to survive. The alien mother was getting worse. Her breathing had slowed. Her skin had turned dull, losing its soft glow. Jack checked her wound again. The bleeding had stopped, but the infection had spread. Human medicine wasn't working. He tried everything. Clean water, painkillers, bandages. But he knew she needed help from her world, not his. The child sat beside her, whispering in a soft, musical voice, one Jack couldn't understand. The sound was like wind and water mixed together. Sad but calming. Jack knelt beside them and said quietly, "She won't make it unless we do something." The child looked up at him, eyes full of fear. It picked up a small, black cube from its bag and placed it gently into Jack's hands. The cube lit up and floated. Then, slowly, it opened. Inside the cube, a small 3D image appeared in the air. Not a video, but a story. The glowing figures were not human. They looked like the mother and child. The image showed them running through fire, escaping explosions. Ships in the sky, soldiers, screaming. They were fleeing a war. Then the image changed. It showed Earth, a small blue dot in space, safe, untouched, a place to hide. The final image was simple. The mother protecting the child. And Jack standing beside them. The cube closed. Jack didn't say anything for a moment. He just nodded. "I get it," he said. "You came here to survive." That night, Jack sat outside again, thinking. He felt the weight of something bigger than he could explain. The government was still searching. Helicopters, agents, questions. Every day they came closer. But now Jack didn't just want to protect them. He needed to. Because for the first time in years, he felt something real. Purpose, family. The next morning, Jack tried something new. He brought paper and pencils to the child. He drew a picture of Earth, a human, a ship in the sky. The child watched carefully, then took the pencil. It drew back, strange symbols, curved lines and stars. They began to talk without words. The child drew its planet, 2 suns, 4 moons. It drew its people, many with different skin, colors and eyes. Then it drew fire, war, darkness, and finally, it drew Jack's cabin. A home. Suddenly, the alien mother woke up. Her eyes flashed open, glowing again, brighter than before. She tried to speak, not in words, but in a sharp, rhythmic tone. The child listened closely, then rushed to Jack. It pointed at the device on the table, the one that had been blinking for days. Jagged it over. The child touched a small spot on the side. Click. The device began to project a small star map. A red dot blinked, then 2 more, then 3. Jack didn't understand, but the mother sat up, weakly raised her hand, and said one word clear and in English. "They are coming." That night, the sky was too quiet. No wind, no birds. Number. Sound. Jack felt it in his bones. The kind of silence that comes before a storm. He looked at the stars. One of them blinked, but it didn't twinkle like a star. It moved. Inside the cabin, the child sat beside its mother again. Jack brought food, soup, bread, and some apples. The child took one. Curious, it bit into the apple, eyes wide with surprise. Sweet, juicy, different. Jack smiled. That's an earth fruit. We call it apple. The child repeated slowly, AP.pl, E. double quote. Then it looked at Jack and said, F.her? Jack froze. He didn't know what to say. Maybe the child didn't mean it like that. Maybe it was just trying to connect words. Or maybe it meant exactly what it said. Jack knelt down, placed a hand on the child's shoulder, and replied quietly, I'll protect you. No matter what. In the distance, deep in the forest, something else had landed, not with fire, not with light, but with silence. A metal shape stood between the trees, unmarked, cold. And from its side, a red light scanned the ground, looking for something. The wind had changed. It no longer whispered through the trees. It listened. Something was out there, watching. Jack felt it in his gut before he saw anything. The forest, once his home, now felt like enemy ground. That morning, he woke up to the sound of engines, low, rumbling, getting closer. He looked through his window. Black trucks, soldiers, drones. The government wasn't just searching anymore. They were hunting. Down in the root cellar, the alien mother sat quietly, her eyes closed. She had recovered a little, but her body was still weak. The child stayed close to her, drawing shapes in the dirt with a stick, stars, moons. A home. Jack walked down with supplies, food, batteries, water. He kneeled beside the child. They're here, he said softly. We need to move, tonight. The child looked up and nodded. By evening, Jack had opened a hidden door behind the cabin, an old tunnel from years ago, dug for emergencies. It led deep into the woods, to an abandoned ranger shack. He packed a backpack, medicine, flashlights, tools, maps, and the alien device. Then, he heard it. Buzzing, high-pitched, mechanical. A drone. Jack ran outside and looked up. A black machine hovered above his roof, scanning. Its red light locked onto the chimney, then turned toward Jack. He ran back inside, grabbed the mother and child, and pulled them into the tunnel. Seconds later, the drone exploded. A missile from a jet above. His cabin lit up in flames. Everything he owned, gone. The tunnel was dark, cold, but safe for now. They walked in silence. Only Jack's boots echoed on the stone floor. The child held his hand tightly. The mother followed, slow but determined. After an hour, they reached the ranger shack, a wooden hut almost forgotten by time. Jack opened the door. Dust flew into the air. This is it, he said. We'll hide here. He laid the mother on a mattress, gave her water, covered the windows with blankets, lit a fire without smoke. Then he sat near the door with a shotgun across his lap. Later that night, the child brought him the floating cube again. It opened. This time, the images showed a new story, a signal sent through space. A call for help, a message. We are alive, we need rescue. Jack stared at the map that followed. 3 red lights were moving, slowly, toward Earth. One of them would arrive soon. They're coming for you? Jack asked. The child nodded, but then showed something else. A gray ship. Not like the others. A threat, Jack understood. Not everyone coming was a friend. The next day, footsteps approached the ranger shack. Jack heard them before anyone knocked. He looked through a crack in the wall. Soldiers. 2. One had a scanner. The red light from the device blinked, then stopped. They were close. Knock, knock. Jack didn't answer. The door creaked open. The soldiers stepped inside, slowly, guns ready, but the room was empty. No fire, no bed, just dust and silence. Because Jack, the mother, and the child were already gone, deeper into the forest. Jack had smelled smoke hours before. His instinct saved them again. They were hunted now, Not just by machines, but by men. That night, under an open sky, Jack and the alien sat in a cave near the river. The stars were bright. The water-cold Dot the child looked up at the sky and pointed. Then, softly said, "Soon." Jack didn't ask what that meant. He just nodded. His world had changed. His name was probably on a list now. A traitor. A criminal. A protector. But he didn't care. He looked at the child beside him, and the mother, resting with her head on a stone pillow. They weren't just strangers anymore. They were his responsibility, maybe even his family. Far above Earth, in the black ocean of space, 3 ships moved silently. One blinked with blue light, rescue. One burned with red, danger. And the third was already close, waiting. It started with a sound, but not from Earth. Not thunder. Not machines. It was a whisper inside the stars. Somewhere deep in the forest, hidden between tall rocks and shadows, Jack sat alone by the fire. The flames danced in his eyes, but his mind was far away. The alien child was asleep beside the mother, holding a small blinking device, the one that never stopped glowing. The stars above were brighter tonight. Too bright. Then Jack heard it, not with his ears, but in his head. A strange hum, like music made of light. He turned toward the child. The device was glowing brighter now. The humming grew louder, not painful, but powerful. The air felt electric. Then the mother opened her eyes. Slowly, she whispered, "It's here." Jack grabbed the device and held it up. The cube unfolded again, but this time, it did not show a map. It showed a message. Not in English. Not in sound. In light. Thousands of tiny symbols floating in the air, spinning slowly, like a living language. Then it translated itself, one word at a time. "We have received your signal. We are near. Hold position. Do not trust the others." Jack stared at it. Others? Before he could ask, the cube changed. Again, this time showing 2 shapes in space. One blue, one black. The blue ship was smooth, curved, warm in color. The black one was sharp, cold, silent. Then the cube showed Earth. And 2 arrows. Both ships were coming. But only one was safe. The alien child woke up and touched Jack's arm. "They hear us," the child said softly. "But not just them." Jack's heart dropped. "How many ships are coming?" he asked. The child raised 3 fingers. "One is good?" Jack asked. The child nodded. "And the others?" The child looked down. "Hunters." That night, Jack climbed a high hill with the child. They needed to send a signal, something clear, something human. The mother stayed in the cave, resting, still weak. Jack carried a flare gun and the alien device. The child carried its stone communicator. At the top of the hill, Jack aimed the flare toward the sky. "Are you sure they'll see this?" The child smiled, just a little, and said, "They're already watching." Jack fired the flare. Boom. Red line shot into the sky, exploded in a bright circle of fire. Then, the stars responded. A line of blue lights moved across the sky, fast, in formation. Not planes, not satellites. Jack held his breath. "They're here." But not all lights were friendly. Behind the blue, a darker shape moved. No lights, no noise. Just a shadow. Jack grabbed the child's hand. "We need to go, now." Back at the cave, the alien mother was standing, weak but alert. She looked at Jack with urgency. "They are close," she said. "Both sides." Jack helped her stand, and they began moving again, deeper into the woods, toward an open field surrounded by hills. The device in the child's hand beeped once, and then turned blue. "They found us," the child whispered. "The good ones." Jack looked up. A beam of soft golden light came down from the clouds, silent, gentle. It lit the grass like a second sun. But before they could step into it, A loud crack split the air. Something had landed, just beyond the trees. Black. Metal, red lights, no windows. No mercy. Another ship. The hunters had arrived. Jack stood between the two ships, one light, one dark. One promise of rescue. One threat of destruction. The child gripped his jacket tightly. The mother held her wound. And the forest held its breath. Then Jack made a decision. "We run to the light," he said. "Don't look back." As they moved across the field, a sound like a siren rang out from the black ship. A door opened. Figures stepped out. Not human. Not alive. Tall. Thin. Moving like shadows. Weapons in hand. Jack ran faster. The child stumbled. Jack picked him up. The mother cried out, her leg bleeding again. They reached the edge of the beam, and the blue light swallowed them whole. For one moment, everything was silent. Time paused. Then flash. The beam disappeared. The black ship fired into empty space. But the family was gone. In the sky, the good ship moved silently away, holding its new passengers. Jack sat in a round room of soft light. The child leaned against him. The mother breathed slowly, healing. He looked out the window. Earth was getting smaller. He didn't know where they were going. But he knew one thing. Now he wasn't their protector anymore. He was part of them. Family. Across the stars. The stars looked peaceful, but inside Jack's heart, a storm was building. He stood at the window of the alien ship, staring at the Earth as it slowly turned below, blue, silent, and far away now. Behind him, soft lights moved across smooth walls. The ship didn't hum like human machines. It breathed. He should have felt safe. He didn't. The child was asleep beside the mother in a warm, glowing chamber. She was healing quickly now, thanks to the ship's strange medicine. Her color was coming back, her breath steady. Her eyes clear, but her voice was worried. She called Jack closer. "We are not safe yet," she said. The enemy ship followed. It cannot reach this vessel, but it waits. Jack listened, jaw tight. "So what happens now?" he asked. The mother paused. "There is another way," she said. "We can return to our world. We will be safe there, but you must decide." Jack frowned. "Decide what?" The ship responded to her voice. A soft blue light opened a large screen on the wall. It showed two images. Earth and a distant green planet. Two paths, two futures. The mother pointed to Earth. "If we go back, the black ship will follow us there. It will not stop until it finds us." Jack's heart sank. "And if you leave Earth?" The mother looked at him with quiet sadness. "Then Earth will be safe. But you must choose." Later, Jack sat alone in a quiet hallway, hands shaking slightly. Go with them, and leave everything behind? Stay on Earth, and risk letting the hunters return? He pulled an old photo from his pocket, the same one the child had once stared at. His daughter, his wife, his life before all this. They were gone now. But something inside him whispered, "You still have something to protect." Suddenly, alarms echoed softly through the ship. No panic. No shouting. Just a quiet warning. Like rain before a storm. The black ship was near. The enemy had found them, again. In the control room, the mother stood at a glowing panel. Her hands moved across lights Jack didn't understand. The child stood beside her, watching the stars. Jack walked in. "I've made my choice," he said. The mother turned. "I'm not going back to Earth," Jack said. "Not if it means they follow you there. I'm staying with you." The child smiled. The mother nodded. "You are family now." The ship changed course. Earth grew smaller in the window, until it disappeared behind the dark side of the moon. Ahead of them, stars shifted, and a tunnel of light opened in space. Not a wormhole. Not a gate, something older. Something alive. The ship moved toward it, but the black ship followed. Faster now. Brighter. Jack watched. The enemy ship through the rear window. It wasn't just a machine. It was hungry. The alien mother looked at Jack. We may need to fight. Just once more. Jack nodded, double quotes, then give me something to fight with. In a small room, the child gave Jack a piece of alien tech, a weapon, shaped like a crystal. It wrapped around his hand like it knew him. It listens, the child said. Only to you. Jack gripped it tight. A sound echoed through the ship. The black ship was trying to force its way into the light. Tunnel. Time was running out. The final moment came. Both ships entered the tunnel. Inside. Everything was white. Then, shadows. The black ship fired. The alien ship shook. Jack stood at the center console, holding the weapon. The lights on his hand glowed. He looked at the child, then the mother. Tell me what to do. The mother placed her hand on his chest. Trust yourself. Jack stepped forward. The weapon lit up. Sent a wave of light through the ship. And out the back, a wall of energy struck the black ship, not to destroy it, but to stop it. Trap it. Freeze it. Time slowed. The tunnel closed. The enemy was left behind. The ship floated gently now, through open stars. Far from war. Far from Earth, but closer to something new. Jack sat down between the mother and child. He looked out at the stars again, this time not as a visitor, but as a part of them. He had made his choice, and it wasn't about planets. It was about people. Jack woke up to silence, not the kind that comes from emptiness, but the kind that comes from peace. Soft lights above his head glowed like tiny moons. The walls of the alien ship now felt less like a machine, and more like a home. The child was sleeping beside him, curled up in a blanket made of soft blue fibers. The mother stood near a glass panel, watching a green world rise ahead. Their planet, their real home. But now, it was as two. As they approached, Jack saw it. A world with two suns, floating mountains, and rivers of light. Cities like crystals. Forests that breathed. Skies painted with colors no human had names for. It was beautiful, and it was untouched by war. When the ship landed, there was no loud noise, no guards, no fear. Instead, people came forward, tall and graceful, eyes glowing softly, each one bowing their heads as the mother stepped out. She was not just a survivor. She was someone important, a leader, a protector, a mother, who had returned from the edge of death. Jack stepped out slowly behind her, unsure. The ground was soft under his boots. The air was cool and light. The alien child held his hand, and then others approached him. Not with weapons. With respect, with curiosity. With welcome. Later, they held a gathering under twin suns. Thousands came, sitting in a circle of stone, where wind carried music like birdsong. The mother stood before them and told the story, not with words, but with light and memory. Images appeared in the air. The crash. The forest, Jack helping her. The child smiling for the first time. The choice Jack made, to leave Earth and protect them forever. The people watched in silence. Then, they stood and placed their hands on their hearts, their way of saying, "You are one of us now." Time passed, not in days or weeks, but in moments. Jack began to learn their language. He worked in their gardens, walked their glowing forests, and studied their sky maps. He wasn't just living among them. He was part of something. The child called him father without hesitation now, and he didn't correct it, because it felt right. One evening, while watching the stars from a tall cliff, the child asked him, "Do you miss Earth?" Jack looked at the sky, quiet for a long time. "I miss what it used to be," he said. "But here, I feel alive again." The child smiled. "You gave us life. Now we give you one." A monument was built on a floating hill, not of stone, but of memory. A living tree, shaped by light, stood in his honor. Its name, Guardian. From the dying star. Not because Earth was dying, but because Jack had left everything behind to save something more important. And somewhere in a quiet part of the galaxy, the black ship remained frozen in time, powerless, trapped in a prison Jack helped build. The war had not ended everywhere, but in this corner of the universe, peace had a name, and that name was Jack. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a hero. He was something stronger. He was family. Final shot. The alien child, older now, telling Jack's story to a circle of young ones under the stars. A glowing image of Earth floats above their heads. They point to it and smile, because even across galaxies, they remember the man who came from that little blue world and chose love over fear.